So yes, slide in the show.
Health issues. Shaya pomodizo ye. Sikami Japan die na made bema o. So I hear unsuya. When you breast waba. Obi benya wa na fi. Yarienti no mon shedia maye. Yaria mama katemo. Abrente. Yarienti no mon shedia maye. Yaria mama ye bata. Enti mini ya shawi. Mini ya bomba. Jawa pomode so na yaria kan wan shedemo. Mini ya shawi. Mini ya bomba. Jawa pomode so na yaria kan wan shedemo. Yaria ya o. Yaria nyakura yarie nyakura akosia bema na semini from King City yo patafinda na big Sunday.
We want to welcome each and everyone to today's health issues. Greetings from Richmond Media to everyone in anywhere that you find yourself and you are watching us. So this afternoon, we want to, in a special way, welcome each and everyone. But our cherished viewers and our cherished listeners, we appreciate your time, your energy, and everything. But today, as we think about your health, we want to discuss about your health because your health is very important and we appreciate your health. It's the wish of the Creator that we all have good health. Same way is the wish of Richmond Media that our viewers and our listeners, together with our family and friends, we will all have good health. Due to that, this afternoon, we want to bring to your doorsteps another important health topic that we started from last 2 weeks. And the topic is how to overcome addiction. How to overcome an addiction. So without wasting much time, today too is another lovely day and brightest day that we have. And we have with me is Brother Samuel Nsanah. And Sammy is very key person to us, and he will be helpful to this afternoon's discussion. So, Brother Sammy, welcome to Richmond Media Health Issues. You are on mute.
Thank you very much, Brother George, this afternoon, and I want to extend my greetings to all our cherished viewers this afternoon. And I must say we are happy to have them. And also thank you for having me this afternoon.
Okay, you are warmly welcome. Some of our viewers and our listeners were continuously asking about why this topic. We want to remind those who were not able to have the chance last 2 weeks that we started how to overcome drug addiction part 1, and that was last 2 weeks. And today we want to continue with how to overcome drug addiction part 2. So for the latest viewers and listeners to get an overview of what we discussed last 2 weeks, Brasame, please can you give us a brief recap about what went on with the part 1 before we move on to the part 2? Thank you. Please, you are muted. Okay.
Thank you very much, Brad George. The last time we had a discussion, um, we spoke about what really causes addiction, um, what can predispose an individual to addiction, what addiction itself is in relations to drug, and what are the genetic traits that can predispose an individual to addiction. So, hello, 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 hello.
Yeah, Sammy, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please. It's loud and clear.
So we said addiction is a disease. It's a disease condition, just like any chronic other disease. So addiction is also a chronic condition which an individual has a strong desire for a particular substance the individual is addicted to, and the individual normally engage in activities that are normally harmful just to gain access to that particular drug. So we spoke about certain activities that the individual may engage to get access to that particular drug the person is addicted to. We did mention the person will normally withdraw him or herself from the workplace during even working hours. Normally, the person like using the washrooms. The person has issues with finance, managing finance. He may be working and be paid good salary, but he's always borrowing from colleagues. They are all major signs of addiction. So maybe as we progress, we'll get to know more. Thank you.
Welcome. So to our cherished viewers, Brother Sammy said something last 2 weeks, that you don't just get up and you will say I'm addicted or someone is addicted, but it begins from a lifestyle. So the complicated of the lifestyle will lead to addiction, and when it becomes addicted, the person becomes addicted, then it becomes a disease that we need to
Yes.
treat. Thank you, Brother Sammy. So today we want to continue. So some are also watching us and want to still remind ourselves. Can you please give us some of the harmful effects again of drug abuse, or when you become addicted? What are some of the harmful effects to an individual? Thank you.
Okay, so to make it well understood for our audience, I want to group it. You know, when we talk of addiction, it has significant impact on the individual, the family, the community the person lives in, and even the nation as a whole. So when we talk about economic disadvantages of being addicted to drug, we can speak about um, normally these people don't have enough savings because they use all their monies or all their income in purchasing this drug they are addicted to. So they have issues with savings. They may also have issues with loans or debt. They are always borrowing. So those are some of the economic or financial challenges an individual may face. Then when we talk about social context, in social context, people who are addicted are presumed in a certain way, or there's a form of stereotype we attribute to these individuals. So self-esteem is diminished, even respect confidence of the person also is diminished. So this is some of the social effects. Now, this is where my focus in is the health aspects of individuals who are addicted. What are the health complications, or what we may say the physiological complications that may occur? So, individuals who are addicted normally, let's give an example like alcohol, which is the most common drugs people abuse and have the likelihood of being addicted to. Normally, these people have the tendency of damaging major organs because of the toxicity, how toxic alcohol is to the human system. So, right from the mouth to when the alcohol is excreted, these individuals may suffer certain conditions. So, they can have liver failure or chronic liver diseases. They can have kidney diseases as a result of addiction, especially to alcohol. When we come to, they can also, most people, especially adults who abuse or who are addicted to alcohol, develop what we call peptic ulcer diseases. Yes, peptic ulcer disease, when the mucosal lining of the stomach is eroded, and normally they have abdominal upsets. So these are some of the challenges. It can go as far as making you sexually inactive. Yes, it have an effect on even your sexuality pattern. Yes, this is how far. And to climax it with alcohol, I know I'm speaking of alcohol because this is a drug which have been licensed, and people are privileged to access it at a low cost. So I'm emphasizing on it. You can easily develop mental illnesses such as depression, anxiety disorders, and so on and so forth. The list continues. Schizophrenia, people we see in quotes, we call them mad people. Some of them is as a result of addiction.
Okay, thank you very much. So, as you said, it can affect your entire human system. So, individuals are cherished viewers and listeners who the focus is, I want to take this drug so that I can be of help to a certain woman, and they can give me a bigger names. If you are also not careful, it will affect you in the future. Thank you, Brother Sammy.
Yes, so that's a nice point. Nowadays, it has become the norm in our society where we take those drugs, we call them aphrodisiacs. They are
Sure.
stimulants which stimulate the muscles. So, men who want to impress or who want to go a long distance in their sexual activities may fall onto these stimulants. As for, God has created a human body in such a way that when it is tired, there's a need for it to rest. So
Sure.
if you look at the normal sexual cycle, a normal sexual cycle shouldn't last more than 10 minutes, but some people can last as long as 30 minutes, 1 hour before they attain orgasm. These are these are under the influence of these aphrodisiacs that people abuse. And these are stimulants that stimulate the muscles to work over their capacity. It gets to a time, even when the muscles are supposed to work under normal capacity, they become deficient. And this
Sure.
is when some of the issues like ejaculation dysfunctioning, erectile dysfunctioning, and so forth and so on set in. Thank
Okay, thank you very much. So, Brother Sammy, someone is asking this. I did not know, so it became my lifestyle. Now it's like when I'm not getting it, I'm not able to stand. Now I have known the effects of drug abuse in any forms to my health. Can this be cured or prevented?
Okay, thank you for your question. Um, Actually, drug addiction, as we said earlier, or as alluded earlier, drug addiction is a chronic condition, and most chronic conditions are not, we don't cure them. That means you can't recover fully from them. However, all hopes are not lost. We can manage drug addiction. That means to an extent we can treat drug addiction. but we can't let you recover fully from drug addiction. We can only prevent its relapse. That means you having those cravings for the drug, the things that will trigger your cravings for the drug. Yes, medically, psychologically, we can manage it to an extent, but we don't cure. If you develop an addiction, just like hypertension and chronic disease like diabetes, as at now, research findings have not proven that you can cure you, and we say you are being remitted from it. So to an extent, we can manage you, and it is treatable. Thank you.
Okay, so the one who asked if I get it well, it means that because I'm a victim of addiction, if I'm able to be managed and I don't take care, I'm at risk of relapse. I think that's the point that you want to make.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. So the fact that you are being treated or managed for drug addiction does not mean you don't have the tendency of developing it again. That's what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah,
Exactly. Yes, you can be treated and recover fully from addiction, but the treatment modality even includes measures to prevent the relapse. The
sure.
relapse, because there's a higher tendency of you relapsing. So that's what
Okay.
it's.
Thank you. So, Brother Simon, you said you can either manage it. So we
Yes.
want to know how can we manage drug addiction?
Okay. So there are lots of school of thoughts about managing drug addiction. One of which we can say has proven to be very effective. We call it psychotherapy. Psychotherapy. And when we say psychotherapy, this is a type of treatment we give to clients or people who are addicted, structure how they think. This type of treatment is not based on medication, but we appeal to an individual's the thinking conscious or the thinking ability of the individual, the thinking pattern, how the person perceives things, how the person sees things, what is causing this default or this maladaptive behavior. This is a treatment given to individuals who may be suffering from a drug addiction. And a typical example of psychotherapy is what we call cognitive behavioral therapy, what we call CBT. And this type of therapy normally identifies the aim of this therapy, the CBT, the therapist or the person who is enrolling this client program try to identify what is the maladaptive behavior, what is causing this addiction, and the person, and normally it's a behavior, it's a pattern that is called, or that use the word in quotes, not appropriate. So the therapist or the person normally normally this psychologically. We also have other forms of treatment like this when support people support food, that's uh, that's a behavior, a lifestyle. Oh, because it's like that, nobody should. And these individuals are neglected, these individuals are stigmatized, and these individuals are isolated. So there's stuff a lot of psychological problems more than addiction itself. All people come into the society, so the family or
Hello, Brother Sammy. It's like we are hardly to hear you now.
okay. Please, is it
Aha,
now
it's clear
better?
now.
Is it
Yes,
better?
please. Yes,
Okay,
please.
so
So with the family, can you go through the family therapy?
so I was saying
Yeah.
the family therapy normally comprises bringing individuals who are directly or indirectly associated with the person who is addicted on board. It could be spouse, it could be parents, children, or a primary caregiver. These individuals are important because they also need to understand not the causes, the cause of the condition, how the condition thrives, the trend of the condition, the root cause of the condition, the manifestation of the condition, and what they should be expecting the clients to demonstrate. So the family need to be brought on board. So they are major stakeholder in the treatment modality of this psychotherapy. So
Okay.
they have to understand that the behavior or the maladaptive, the inappropriate behavior the client is putting up is not deliberate. It's because of a disease condition. And as I
Sure.
said, addiction is not just a behavior, it is a disease condition that needs to be managed. And the family needs to come to this level of understanding. Otherwise, when you even send a client to the hospital and discharge, this client is going back into the family. And how then
Exactly.
does the client try? Okay. So that is
Yeah.
about the family therapy. The last one I want to talk about is the group therapy under the psychotherapists, the group therapy. And with the group therapy, normally people who have suffered drug addiction, has undergone the recovery process and they are fully recovered, come back and share their success stories. What they did that they think is beneficial to those who are now suffering. So they come back and show their support, share their experience. And normally we call those groups, we call them, that type of therapy is called group therapy. So we have a lot of groups in the system. We have AA, which is the Alcohol Anonymous group. We have the Drug Anonymous group. We have a lot of groups that when you undergo the treatment for addiction and you are recovering, you are likely to join these groups, which will aid your recovery.
Okay. So, Brass, I mean, meaning that these groups are just available and they are common to join, right?
Exactly. They are available.
Okay.
So anybody who
Thank
needs
you.
their help easily access it. Yes.
Okay. So, please, we can continue with the management.
Okay, so um normally medications, some people, mostly we have the perception that when you are sick, yes, of course, you have to take medicine. So there is not this particular medicine or drug that we can just give it to you, then it perform magic for you to recover from addiction. There is nothing like that. The only thing, we give some drugs, certain forms of drug, so that as we talk about the signs and symptoms of addiction, addiction normally comes with withdrawal symptoms. Anytime the quantity of the drug you have taken is reducing in your blood, your system, you begin to experience some uncomfortable feelings, or signs and symptoms are demonstrated by this individual, which we call drug withdrawal. And medication therapy is just to help you so that you don't really suffer from this severest form of withdrawal. The withdrawal, some can be shaking of hands, some can be sweating, profuse sweating, some can even have seizures. Some can convulse. So and it can be life threatening. So at the healthcare facility, we normally give some medications that can counteract or that can reduce the effect of this drug, the withdrawals that are associated to that particular addiction. Okay, we have other forms of therapy we also give in a form of drug. So let's say somebody is addicted to cigarettes. cigarettes. Let's say somebody is addicted to cigarettes. We don't give the person actual cigarettes, but we give some forms of medications that taste or smells like cigarettes. And we call that type of therapy, we call it a replacement therapy, gradually to wean the person out of the abuse of cigarettes or nicotine. So we call that type of medications we give to clients as a replacement therapy, but it have therapeutic effects not to harm the client.
Okay.
Exactly, that is about the medication. Okay, so I spoke about the support group, which is very cardinal. It is a pivoting point in recovery or for you to, in the management of drug addiction. The support groups, if not the likelihood, without the support group, the chances of you relapsing is very high. So, somebody who has undergone a drug addiction recovery program are normally educated or counseled to join support group. So we the health professionals themselves advocate or introduces them to such support groups, which over the time have proven to be very beneficial to the clients. So basically, when we talk about management, this is what we can talk about. But the best form of management, it should be in an institution, because individuals who are addicted, we say it is a disease and need to be taken care by a professional. So the person needs to go to a healthcare facility which have been designated for individuals who are addicted. So we call it hospitalization. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Brother Sameh. So now I know our viewers and our listeners have known that if I'm a family member or you know of a family member who is addicted to a particular drug or a particular substance, for example, alcohol or marijuana and the rest, you don't go and tie the person to a pole, but rather there are some approaches that we can do professionally, which will not be
Exactly.
binding or tying that individual with chains and things. And by so doing, we are targeting on aiming at how to reverse this condition and link that individual to a support group. I hope that's what our viewers should take home.
As, as, exactly. Exactly. That's a nice take
And
home message.
also, yeah, and also we have known that yes, we have a successful stories out there. So the health workers, the professionals are able to guide individuals who are also going through this therapy, and will link you to similar group so that the social support and the small group support can help us all to be able to overcome the addiction. I think that is the
Yes.
best point that we have taken. No chains again. I hope that is right.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, no chains
Exactly.
again.
That those things don't
Okay.
solve the problem. Some lock their family members in the room just to prevent them from having because it's a disease condition and the person need help. And the person really need help. Yes,
Exactly.
by a professional. Yes.
Exactly. Thank you, Brother Same. Brother Same, we've
Okay.
known that just because someone took like some years of lifestyle before becoming addicted, same way, when you want to recover from such addiction, either a drug, a substance, or any form, that one also will not be one day job. I hope that is right. Or is
It's
just
true.
because I've come to Brasame, I'm addicted in alcohol, I'm addicted in cigarettes, then I am hoping that tomorrow it should go. I hope it will take through series of steps. I hope that is right.
Yeah, so addiction don't normally come at once. Addiction
Exactly.
develop over time. So you can abuse substances, any substance. Even over some people, most of us are addicted, but we don't know. We may think it is the hard drugs or the psychoactive drugs that we are talking about. Some of us are addicted to over-the-counter medications, like the nonsense, such as
Exactly.
brufen, such as diclofenac, most of us are addicted to painkillers. Let me say painkillers. Over-the-counter drugs. Over a period of time, when you continue to take something, the likelihood for you to develop addiction for that substance is very high, especially if you have the genetic predisposition we discussed the other day. If you have that particular and I said addiction is about 70% genetic. So somebody can abuse a substance for a very long period of time and may never develop addiction. He will just be abusing the drug, may never develop addiction. He may suffer from other health complications of abusing that drug, but may never develop addiction. But you may not be lucky. You try it for a period of 1 month, 2 months, maximum 3 months, and you may develop addiction. Yes.
Okay.
Same way when we are managing you, it doesn't come. You don't overcome addiction by 1 day, by 2 days, or by 3 days. So currently in our states, the minimum requirements for overcoming addiction in most of our institutions we have is 6 month period. 6 months period, the minimum you can think about. Yes, and managing addiction is quite expensive. Very expensive, especially in Ghana. It's very expensive. We don't have much facilities. So the few facilities that we have, the expertise are also not there. So they charge a lot of money to be able to enroll you into the program. So you don't overcome addiction in a 1 day or 2 days time. It's not overnight issue. It takes a period because it's a program and you need to go through the program successfully.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Because you hear someone is saying for your alcohol, for this, within 2-3 days, it will go. But from your studies now, we have known that it's not even the medication that is performing anything, but it's approach. It comes with a comprehensive approach where the psychotherapy, where the social support groups all play a major role. So, as Sister Odro Rabbi was asking, is it true that some drugs, especially herbal drugs, cure it within a week or month? And we are saying no. It's not true.
It's never true.
We are saying
it's
no.
never true.
Yes.
It's never
Any
true.
drug cannot, because
Research has not proven that. So we can't speak to it much, but we can speak to what research scientifically it has been proven that this thing works. So if you go and buy some concoction somewhere and you think addiction is a disease, and it is a disease, a chronic disease, and it's chronic diseases are not cured overnight. We manage them so that you don't suffer the consequences of that disease. That is what our viewers have to understand this afternoon.
Thank you, Brasame. So therefore, what are the steps of drug recovery?
So every institution have its own program they run for drug recovery. That is, this drug recovery is for people who are addicted. We have different forms of addiction. Now, even there are severer forms of addiction more than drug addiction. People are addicted to betting. People are addicted to sex. People are addicted to a lot of things. Even children are getting addicted to television. So this, what you are coming to discuss this afternoon, the steps involved in drug recovery is normally related to drugs addiction. It may not be applicable in other forms of addiction, so our viewers should take note. This is what most facilities, this is the approach most facilities subscribe to. So it is a 12-step drug addiction. So the first step, and this one needs to be enrolled at a facility level or at a hospital. So the first step I would like to talk about, we call it acceptance. Acceptance. So it comes from the English word for you to admit something. for you to admit something. So normally there is a saying that the first step is to admit you have a problem. The first step of everything is for you to admit that you have what? A problem. If you don't acknowledge the fact that you have a problem, then you may not see the need for you to be helped. So most of us who are addicted to drugs still remain in the state of denial that we are not addicted. We are just using it for our personal gain, or for us to do something, for us to work on something, or for us to use it for our occupation or something. But we really don't accept the fact that I have developed addiction for this particular drug. So the first step is addiction, and it's a whole program that we run for 6 months minimum. So it entails a lot of things, but I want our audience and our viewers to understand this afternoon that the first step, before we can even help any individual, the person needs to accept, need to agree, need to acknowledge honestly that I have a problem and I need help. The second step we can talk about is faith. Faith, faith is very, very important. You know, the human being is a biopsychosocial spiritual being. The human being is not only made up of flesh, the human being is made up of the spirit. The human being interacts with the society. Yes, so faith is very important because the human being is also a spiritual being. So we have to introduce this individual to where their belief or where their source of belief is. So somebody may say, I'm a Christian, and yes, of course, their source of belief is God through Christ. Somebody may say, I'm a Muslim. Others may say, oh, I'm an atheist. So you have to find the source of faith. Normally, the source of faith in our context here is God. So you have to first believe. And it's a process where we develop, it's a step where we develop a belief, a trust in God, that God can help you. There should be a supernatural power. So we have internal factors. You have tried, some people have tried within their means and they cannot overcome this drug addiction. But with faith, that is an external power that have influence over you, which can be a contributing factor for you to overcome your addiction. So that is faith. That is for the second one. Then the third step, which is surrender. Surrender. And it still comes from an English word, to give it up. Uh-huh. This is the third step. And here you have to surrender all your problems, all the challenges, the difficulties with the addiction. You have to give it up to the power, the higher power you believe in, or the source of your faith. Yes, that is the surrender. So it's a step. So we spoke about step 1, step 2. Step 1, which is acceptance. Step 2, you have to have faith. Step 3, which you have to surrender it. The fourth step is self-reflection. Self-reflection. And when we talk about self-reflection, it's just like you moving away from your body and looking at yourself. So it is an introspective examination, introspective, or an introspection of yourself. You examine yourself to know what are the moral, it's just like a moral inventory. You assess yourself to know, or you evaluate your decision over the past period, your thoughts, your behavior over the past period, and see which of them is really contributing to the condition I am suffering from now, currently. So that is about the reflection. So there's a need for you to reflect. I'll quickly move off to the fifth step, which is what we call integrity. Integrity. This is where a person confesses. Confesses. So when we there are some doctrine when you offend. I think the Christian doctrine
is when you sin or when you commit a transgression or a sin, you have to confess your sin, because we believe, Christians believe, when I use we believe, forgive me, Christians believe that when you confess your sin, it is then that you can be forgiven. So this is when you confess your sins to the Almighty God first of all. You also confess your sins to people who are looking up to you. So if you're a father, you confess your sins to your children. If you're a spouse, you confess your sins to your wife or your husband. Yes, if you're a child, an adult, adolescent, you confess your sins to your parents. You might cause them a lot of harm. So that is the fifth step, which we call integrity. This is for you to build up your integrity, for you to put yourself together. Letting the ability to let go vital steps, including a lot of things you might have done that have offended your parents. So that is the integrity step. Yes. The next step after the integrity is what we call acceptance. Acceptance, which is the sixth step. Um, this is about preparing yourself, or your readiness to accept the higher power to remove the disease condition out of you. I don't know whether I should come again.
Yeah, come again.
So the sixth step of acceptance is this is when you accept that, oh, this burden, after reflecting, after having an integrity of confession to your people you might have offended, people your behavior or your condition might have affected in one way or the other. This is the stage where you accept that the superpower, being it Christ, being it God, or your faith you believe, should take this burden away. The burden you are talking about here is the addiction. Addiction. And it is a whole program on its own. The acceptance itself can take you more than 1 or 2 weeks. What entails is a lot of things that entails the acceptance. The next step that you are introduced to, we call it humility. 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 Here, you have to be humble enough. You have to be humble enough and accept that without the presence of a superpower, you can't help yourself. Some people, so you find people says, oh, as for me, I can stop abusing alcohol. I can overcome from alcohol addiction. I can overcome cannabis or marijuana addiction. The person may try abstain from it from 1 month. Some people can go as far as 6 months without even tasting it. But in the 7th month, you see the person goes back. That is what we call relapse. So in the recovery therapy, or in the steps of recovery, we let the person understand the humility step. Let the person understand that you can't do it. The character that is not good, the addiction, the behavior you are putting up, you can't do it on your own unless God comes in, unless the superpower you believe in steps in. So that is about the humility. Okay, please, can we go on? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, Brasami.
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, Brasami.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello, Brasami.
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I think we are having some challenge with from Brasami's end. Hello, Brasami.
Hello? Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Hello?
We are having some challenge with from Brasami's end. Hello, Brasami.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Hello?
I think we've lost Brasami. So let's see if he will join us very soon. Brasami will join us very soon. But we've known that whatever he's taking us through is something very important. And indeed, we really appreciate the steps that he's gradually taking us through. So we will just wait for Brasami to join so that he can continue for us as to where we have reached.
Low battery, please charge.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay.
So
Low
please, you
battery,
can
please
continue.
charge.
Okay. So we reached the humility.
Yes,
Humility.
please.
And I was saying that steps talks about
you bringing down your ego and accepting that you can't help yourself, that you need an external power, which is God, or wherever you believe, whatever you believe in, to help you take away the character that is defaulted, or that is the maladaptive character, the character that uh, is not good. You need a superpower to help you, and that
Exactly.
is the humility side of it. This is this. If I said addiction, you can't just get up and say, "Oh, I want to come out. I want to snap out of addiction." No, it doesn't happen like that. It's a disease that really affects the individual, and you need help. You really need help, and this help also comes from the faith basis, or the faith level. And this, at this stage, you really have to agree that you can't do much to help yourself. You need to involve somebody else, and that is the humility.
Okay.
You see, people, I was saying, people sometimes refrain from um, alcohol for a period of 2 weeks, sometimes even as far as 6 months without taking it. But in the seventh month, they go back and start taking it again. That is what we call relapse. So
Sure.
for you to fully recover, you need humility, that you need the help of a superpower to help you.
Exactly.
And in the context here is God. Then there should be willingness. Willingness. This is a program that we need your cooperation. We need your willingness to bring everything you have on board. If you are compelled, if you are forced to go to the recovery home, or the drug addiction recovery centers, you may not benefit from it. It should be willing. So at this stage, after taking inventory, and after seeing the maladaptive behaviors, and after being humble that you want your superpower to help you take it away, this is when you willingly give it out. Okay? You
Yeah.
willingly give it out. Whatever,
Okay.
you willingly give it out. You also try to forgive those who have harmed and wronged you. The cause of your condition, you also have to forgive them. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go to the next point. Then you have to make amends. That's the ninth point, or the ninth step. You have to make amends, and this one is very, very sensitive, because at this stage, people you have offended, you have to go and reconcile with them. And this, you don't do it alone. It is guided by the therapist. You don't do it alone. So for there to be complete healing, you need to make amends. This is when you have to go and right all the wrong where possible. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Obapa Bimah, aka HB, health issues, Ekoma Yina. Yare nyakura yare nyakura enti mini ya hwe mini ya bon oban hwe wapomude so na yare anka wan hyetemo mini ya hwe mini ya bon oban